susunod nating i-discuss is yung tinatawag nating irreversible expansion against an external pressure. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Suppose you have a gas or a collection of gas particles and you want to expand that volume of a gas against a constant external pressure. So, yung external pressure natin dito, sabihin natin constant ito. Constant. So this is your gas, and you have an external pressure, and the gas will seek to have a pressure equal that of the external pressure. Ibig sabihin, yung pressure ng gas ay mas maliit kaysa sa pressure external. And because of that, expansion will happen. Kasi remember, pag sinabi natin expansion, liliit yung pressure, lalaki yung volume. And the pressure na sinisik ng volume ng gas na ito is equal to the external pressure. Paano natin siya gagawin? So let's say you have here the isotherm or P versus V plot. And ang ating initial condition or initial state will be this point, for example. Kasi nga, expansion ang gagamitin natin or gagawin. And yung final condition natin is here. So what we do to get to that final external pressure, and let me first indicate kung nasaan yung external pressure na yan. So nandito siya sa bandang point na to. So this is your external pressure. So anong gagawin natin para umabot from initial state to the final state? So to get to the external pressure constant, ang gagawin natin is we will lower the pressure at constant volume by lowering the temperature. So, ganito siya. Okay, and let me use another color for this. So, lowering the pressure at constant volume by lowering the temperature as well. And the next step will be to increase the volume at constant pressure by increasing the temperature. Okay, so those are the steps to perform irreversible expansion. So kung makikita nyo, yung area na nakukonsider natin dito is this area. So, mathematically, for us to calculate the amount of work done, so remember it's W equals integral of P dV. However, yung pressure natin is constant. So, external pressure yan. Yun yung ating final pressure. So, ang mangyayari, magiging negative P external times delta V. So, this is now our work irreversible. So, bakit siya irreversible? Kasi constant yung external pressure kung saan yun yung pressure na gustong marating ng ating collection of gases or gas molecules. Okay. We can achieve the same process by doing two steps. For example, pwede kang magsimula. So, if this is your initial state and this is your final state, so you will perform also irreversible expansion. So pwede kasing ganito, you lower the pressure by lowering the temperature, and then nangyayari yan at constant volume, and then you increase the volume at constant pressure by increasing the temperature. So that's first step. And then sa second step, you can do the same thing. You will lower the pressure at constant volume by lowering the temperature, and finally increasing the volume by increasing the temperature at constant pressure. So, dalawang steps yan. So, you have here, graphically, parang mayroon kang dalawang rectangle. So, if you want to determine the total work done for this two-step process, all you have to do is calculate the area under the curve or the area of the two rectangles. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, meron kang delta V1. Okay, so let me just change the color here. Delta V1. Meron kang delta V2. But the pressure will be the same. So, this is still your external pressure. Although meron kang initial pressure na i-achieve later, or earlier rather, and then your second pressure will be the external pressure. So, yan yung ating irreversible work. Now, what if yung pressure natin ng gas is almost equal doon sa external pressure? Anong mangyayari? So, mag-expand yung gas, for example, yung pressure niya halos the same doon sa external pressure. So, the gas will expand, okay? Kakalabanin niya yung external pressure, pero since yung external pressure, it's the same with the pressure of the gas, in turn, it will exist a force pabalik dun sa gas. Such that, if you want to determine the work, so for example, this is your pressure, and then if you increase the pressure a little bit, it will still be equal kasi konting-konti lang yung increase mo dun sa pressure ng gas na yan. It's just a differential P. Very infinitesimal. It's still your pressure. So whether you add dP or subtract dP, it will always be P. Tama ba? Kasi napakaliit lang nung change in pressure na gusto mong gawin. So, ang tawag dito is reversible process. So, let me illustrate this graphically. So, the same thing, ang ating initial state ay, let's say, this point. And yung final state natin ay itong point na to. Okay, so what we do is to lower the pressure pa rin. So, same with what we did a while ago, by lowering the temperature, and then yung gagawin mo next is increase the volume at constant pressure by increasing the temperature, pero just a little bit. Okay, ibig sabihin itong change in pressure na ginawa natin dito is just differential P. Very, very minute change in pressure. So, ibig sabihin at any time, pwede siyang bumalik sa initial value ni P. Kasi sobrang konti lang yung dinagdag natin sa pressure value na yan. It's just dP. So, it could increase the pressure a little bit, but since yung external pressure is equal dun sa pressure ng gas, babalik pa rin siya dun sa original pressure P. Kaya siya tinawag na reversible. Okay? Now, let's continue that process or series of steps. So just a little bit increase or decrease rather, or change the pressure, and then increase the volume, and so on and so on. Now notice that the change in volume that I'm doing here, okay, for all points dito sa curve natin is the same. So approximately, halimbawa, pare-pareho lang yan. Now, let's create our rectangles. The width of each rectangle here na nakikita ninyo is equal to differential V. Now, if you take the sum of all the areas of these rectangles, lahat ng iyan na nakikita ninyo, so what we are doing here is actually integrating. So, yung work done is integral of P dV. Now, notice na meron tayong minus sign, the same as above, kasi yan yung ating sign convention. But, this is now your reversible work. Ibig sabihin, yung amount of work na na-produce because of reversible expansion is basically the area under the curve. And if you notice, yung area na yan is a lot larger compared to the area na nakita natin kanina sa irreversible expansion. Okay? So area, so let me write it like here, area for the reversible expansion, okay, graphically, is greater than the area you have seen for the irreversible process. Okay, in fact, na-maximize natin yung area ng curve. Okay? Kasi habang paliit ng paliit yung dV natin, ang nangyayari is pakonti ng pakonti yung negative spaces dito sa ating graph. Unlike here, malaki masyado yung negative space. In other words, the maximum work that you can obtain will be coming from a reversible process. That is the conclusion.